This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where my friend Sara and I gorge ourselves on overanalyzing stuff.
The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge, where for just $5 a month, you gain access to not one, but two entire podcasts. $5 gets you Takeout, a monthly commentary track where Ben and I decide we don't feel like putting in the work to do content, so instead we just watch stuff and talk over it. And $2, only $2, gets you That's Hell You're Walking Into, a series where Ben and I dive into the brave new world of Type Moon, the Nasuverse, and the Fate series. I feel weird to say just Fate Grand Order, because there's a whole other series, but I think everything has fallen under the umbrella of Grand Order at this point. Don't worry about it. Because there's a lot of questions that Ben has about the Nasuverse, and I do my damnedest to answer them. Sometimes successfully, sometimes not. It's really fun. This month's episode, if you want to just pay once to hear like a single episode, I highly recommend it's this month, because all year I have been answering Ben's questions, and at the end of the year I turn around and ask Ben those same questions to see if he remembers what I taught him.
The answer is I probably don't, but we'll find out.
It'll be fun! So, again, that's patreon.com/thegorge. Thanks.
So, it is the end of the year.
Thank fuck.
We made it through.
I don't know how, but we're here.
So, it is time for, the Gorgies.
That's right, folks. The worst named award show in award show history. But by God, we own it at this point. It's our stupid thing, and you're all just gonna have to deal with it. It's a prestigious award.
So, we have a bunch of awards, just kind of like last year. We are doing this more yearbook style, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So
that makes sense.
We're just kind of passing out awards for exemplary behavior. And then we're gonna do our games of the year.
Miscongeniality, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, these are the awards that matter. Best graphics, Best art direction, no. Fuck all that.
None of that matters at all.
All of that is subjective. Ours are objective facts about video games and who deserves to be crowned the king of these objective facts.
And we are going to have better reveal trailers at the Gorgies than the Game Awards did.
That's true. The Game Awards, they'll jerk you around. Not the Gorgies.
No.
We always have good stuff. So,
well, the Gorgies, you would want to get jerked around a little bit, right?
I mean, I'm sure if a couple of people are into that, but that's neither here nor there. Holla at the Discord. So, that being said, we should get this going.
We should.
And hand things out. So
yes.
The way we usually do it is we'll go back and forth. So do you want to start? Should I start?
You can start.
Okay. So that makes sense for this first one, right? So the first award on the docket is the Bowser Award for Excellence in Video Game Fatherhood. Usually we'd list like different nominees, but this year, we're just like, you know what? There's one pick, because these are all extremely obvious picks, and there's almost always a runner-up. So that being said, this is a very obvious one, because it's Herlock Sholmes from The Great Ace Attorney, aka Shuchikumi, going, I'm not giving up this Phoenix Wright as a dad thing. We're going further with it, people. We're taking this all the way to hell. I'm not giving up on this concept.
We're gonna make it work.
And you know what? It works. It's great.
It does. It works really well.
Shuchikumi was like, what if Sherlock Holmes was like a dad? And everybody at Capcom was like, and then they handed him, Well, they didn't give him a lot of money to make Great Ace Attorney, but they gave
very
him some
specifically did not give him any money at all, really,
to make Great Ace Attorney. Yeah. But they did give him some degree of money to make Great Ace Attorney, so that he could make Sherlock Holmes into a dad, and frankly, we're all better off for it. I appreciate that everybody I know is driven categorically insane by this character, because like they're like, oh my god, he's just like a dad. It's like, yeah, he's just like a dad. It's great. He just does dumb, shitty dad things, and it's a great video game.
And the only reason that he gets it over the runner-up, which is Ethan Winters,
right,
is because Great Ace Attorney is such a better game than Resident Evil 8 was. And, yeah, Ethan goes through it.
Ethan does go through it. He gets his hand cut off several times.
He just could not stick the landing.
You can't
the
die
way that
at the end.
Herlock
You can't
did.
die at the end of your video game. That's not sticking the landing, my mans.
No.
You gotta climb the whole mountain, buddy. So that your daughter doesn't end up like a weird secret agent with mold superpowers.
Yeah. Question mark?
We don't know how old she is. She like rapidly aged? Who knows? I hate the ending of Resident Evil 8.
But the ending of Great Ace Attorney 2
killed me.
Was like, oh, this is the opposite of Resident Evil 8.
It's pure catharsis in every single way. Not just because of the whole dad thing. There's a lot of reasons why it's just like crystallized catharsis. Like you could bag it and sell it on a street corner, And on top of raising like an actual kid, like he also adopts these like 2 Japanese students that show up. And this one street kid who likes to steal people's wallets.
Yeah.
It's just like, by God, I'll adopt every wayward child in London town if it kills me.
And then Ryunosuke is like, I'm 23.
Shut up, it's fine. Congratulations on your new father. Ryunosuke's like, I have a dad. I like him. Shut up. Like, who cares?
It's inheriting the Reagan Arataka energy.
So it's really not like a dad to all of them, but more like the weird uncle.
But it's like that bit. It's like, have you seen the joke post where it's like Mob goes to Reagan and is like, the parent teacher conferences are tonight, and Reagan gets all set to go, and Mob's like, no, I'm gonna bring my actual dad.
Yeah, like I have good parents. I'm bringing my actual father instead.
I just also have like you to be a good like mentor and
weird shady uncle. That is truly. We could also give Sholmes the award for being video games' shadiest uncle in a long, long time.
Yeah.
So congratulations, you get 2 awards tonight. So next. Oh, this is also a good one for me, but it's fine.
Next, we have the Virgil Award for Excellence in Smug Rivalry. And the winner of this award is Ravenbeak.
See, I didn't play Metroid Dread.
With Volron from Tales of Arise being the runner-up. Ravenbeak, who exemplifies Virgil tendencies in such a way without needing dialogue to do so.
See, that is impressive. That's like a Nello Angelo thing.
Yeah.
Where you're just quiet and imposing.
I told you this when I first played it, but yeah. His first appearance is he shows up, he grabs Samus by the head and slams her into the ground until her weapons fall off. Mm-hmm. And, Dante put up a fight in Virgil 1.
That's true.
Like, you got to fight that boss battle.
Yeah.
Like, he scratched and bled for it and ultimately lost. And Samus, hot off of Metroid Fusion, just gets her entire shit pushed in the minute she touches down on the planet.
Extremely owned as hard as possible.
To the point where Adam, your little AI, like, partner who like saves your game is like, no, you can't fight Ravenbeak. He's too strong.
He's too cool and his dick is too big. Run, Samus.
You cannot harm him at all. Even with all your weapons, you can't harm him.
You haven't played enough of this video game to be able to beat Ravenbeak. So you got to go play the rest of the game first.
It's great, and his boss battle is fucking amazing. Like, he does a ton of really cool shit that is like, oh, this sucks at first, but then once you see the pattern, you're like, oh, I know exactly how to dodge all of this. You
ever see a character that just makes you mad that Smash Ultimate is over?
Yeah!
Just like looking at him, you're like, God damn it, really?
If they could have done one more season pass, Ravenbeak would have been one of the characters.
Yeah, he would get in for sure. Like, I've heard literal multiple people saying that would be the case. You know what I mean? Like, he would be the requisite like Nintendo character that still gets in, and not like some third party character. Right. God damn, he does have a really cool design too.
He does. He looks so fucking cool.
That shit's raw. Yeah, that sucks.
There's a bit where you shoot off half of his helmet, and he looks super cool, and he gets wings, and
yeah, that's even a Smash character design. Like, it's very it'd be very distinct in like the cacophony of a Smash fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I know. He's so fucking cool.
That's raw. That's a shame. What are you gonna do?
He's bigger, and he's got like a cape that turns into wings, and
he's got like a cool crown helmet thing. He just looks like a badass.
And he's just like, I'm a Chozo hunter. I'm the thing that taught you how to fight, Samus.
And here I
fight
am
me
now to
and
hunt
lose.
You. Yeah, raw. That's a shame.
God, he's so fucking cool.
Volron is also extremely cool, but only if it has the problem of being stuck in a game that doesn't understand how cool he is.
Volron
literally feels like he came from a different video game.
Volron feels like he walked out of a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, like he's so cool.
His intro is basically, if you combine the bit where you find the the giant serpent in the
Zalem.
Yeah, the Zalem. The Midgar Zalem. With if it was, did Virgil do this instead?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He has a giant fuck off sword. He teleports. He's got like an elemental theme. He's just really cool, and he has like a lot of personality, which is more than can be said about any of the other lords in Tales of Arise, and B, most of the main characters in Tales of Arise. Volron's just like, he's in the game like a handful of cutscenes, and he's like, I'm a maniac and I'm the king and fuck you, and he big dicks everyone, and it's just cool. Like,
and he beats the shit out of Rinwell for no reason.
Because he knows that Rinwell's really annoying. So he's like, shut up, fuck.
She gets it so hard.
She gets owned extremely hard in that cutscene. And frankly, I think it's really funny.
He fucking wall bounces her.
He kicks ass. I'm sorry. Like, he's just, his design is cool. He has really fun facial expressions. Because, like, say we will about Tales of Arise, and we will soon. But, like, the game itself looks really great. And he has, like, a lot of fun, like, crazy person facial expressions and stuff. I just think he's neat. I think his design is good. I think he's in a really bad video game, but that's neither here nor there. So, you know, it's fine.
But he just can't compete against literally that's
because Metroid Dread is a good game.
Like, you nailed it. You described it right, where like it is, what if Nello Angelo was Virgil? And I know that he is Virgil, but like
But what if he had like Virgil tendencies instead of just being like actually Virgil, if that makes sense?
Yeah, like what if you just fought Nello Angelo in Devil May Cry 3?
Right, there you go.
That would be cool.
That would be sick, actually. Yeah, it's kind of what we get in Devil May Cry 5. So it's fine.
If you fought to like an 8-foot Virgil in the suit of armor in Virgil 1.
Yeah, that's true. That is kind of Devil May Cry 5, the real beginning of Devil May Cry 5. Don't worry about it. That's a spoiler. Not that it's a spoiler anymore.
There's a reason why this is the Virgil Award and not just the generic rival award. It's because
you have to have like the essence of being like a smug asshole too. You can't just be a rival. You've also got to be a dick about it.
You have to have vaguely similar power sets. And like some kind of like, you have to look like it'd be cool to play as you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like where is the DLC where I can play as this character? And Ravenbeak and Volron both, absolutely. I would frankly rather play a 40-hour Volron game than Tales of Arise.
Look, if Kirby games can have like Meta Knight mode, which Meta Knight is also was Virgil before Virgil existed.
Sure.
Then Metroid Dread can get a Ravenbeak mode.
Yes, absolutely. Well, okay. Next award. Is the Shattered... What is this one, Ben? The Shattered Dimensions Award for Best Spider-Man themed crossover event. I like this one because the winner is something that isn't even out yet. So it's almost certainly going to get another award next year when it is out. But this is kind of like the Game Awards most anticipated game, and it's just Elden Ring every single year.
This award is sponsored by Elden Ring.
This award is sponsored by Elden Ring because it's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse with No Way Home as a runner-up. I haven't seen No Way Home. I have seen the trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and that trailer was better than like any other thing I've seen all year. I'm just like, please put it into my eyes now.
This is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is the third time that we've gotten a game where or a feature of some kind where recurring Spider-Man actors have reunited for a multiversal crossover event.
That's true.
Which isn't that many, but it's weird that it happened 3 times.
Yeah, that's true. Because Shattered Dimensions did come first.
Yeah. Shattered Dimensions had the old 90s cartoon voice actor. It had Ultimate Spider-Man or Marvel vs. Capcom Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. It had the 60s cartoon Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
And Neil Patrick Harris reprising his role from, you remember MTV had a Spider-Man cartoon that was roughly based on the first movie?
No?
Yeah, it was a really bad CG cartoon. And it was
my god, Brain Blast, yes! Oh
my
god, I feel like I'm unlocking memories.
It was like super roughly based on the first Raimi movie. And Spider-Man was voiced by Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh my god, and he came back for that. Well, good for him, because that is a hell of a pull. But yeah, no, like, it's funny, because Across the Spider-Verse isn't even out yet, and I'm like, no, give it an award. Give it something. This is the first time my neurons fired so hard in a long time. It's like, there's going to be 2 parts? Oh my god.
And I've heard No Way Home is actually really, really good.
I probably will never see it, you know. Mm-hmm. But I've heard good things about it. If I go see it, it'll be for Alfred Molina. But yeah, you know, the problem is that, yet again, I don't really want to go to a theater right now.
Yeah, no.
So, whoops. So I'll watch it eventually.
But fucking Across the Spider-Verse is just like, hey, I'm here and your thunder, it's mine now.
Yeah, we're here to still be the best Spider-Man. It is very funny how it's the joke from Invincible. See what they have to do to mimic even a fraction of our power.
You're totally right, though.
That's Spider-Verse pointing at No Way Home.
Yeah.
It's just like, see, they have to call in all these old. They have to bring in Tobey Maguire to mimic even a fraction of how much everybody loves Spider-Verse. And like, you know, I know that No Way Home has apparently made $1 billion. But like, who cares? Because Spider-Verse is still better.
Who cares? Did you see 2099 throw Miles with one arm?
Like he's a basketball? Did you see how jacked 2099 is?
He's so
Shut
fucking
up.
huge!
Why is he so big? Who cares?
Why did they redesign him like that? Why is he so big?
Like, we need a really big guy. I'm okay with it.
I mean, like, yeah, I guess, like, you know, you gotta differentiate, like, body proportions. Like, you know, in Into the Spider-Verse, like, Noir was really tall.
Yes, that's true.
So I guess they're just like, what if Miguel O'Hara's just fucking jacked?
He's just, like, ripped to shit. That's why he can basketball throw Miles across the goddamn room. Like, because he never skips lifting, ever. So,
no,
you know.
Never. God, it looks so good, and they're gonna have Spider-Man Indiana too.
It's good. It looks really, and it's really, it's wild to me that it's a two-parter. Like they explicitly said Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, and I'm so glad because it just feels like they made, you know, they started plotting this movie, and they're like, okay, we can get it all into one movie, and then it got away from them.
It's,
you know,
what it's gonna be is that they couldn't put like 8 spider people in one movie, so like we gotta split it up so that one movie Miles and Gwen will have like one team, and then they'll transfer to another team in the second one.
Yeah, that makes sense, because then you can get even more Spider Men in your awesome crossover movie series, and I am just fucking thrilled. Like, yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Because it looks incredible, yeah. Oh my god. So, look forward to Across the Spider-Verse getting another award next year. It certainly will.
What are the numbers you're putting on one of the 3 live-action actors being in there for like a minute?
Ooh. I don't know, because they're all in No Way Home.
Yeah.
They'll probably put Tom Holland in there somewhere. Like, even just as, like, a voice cameo.
He could be Spider UK and finally get to use his natural accent.
Oh, that would be awesome. Please, actually, yes, do that. Because I forget that Tom Holland is English. Actually, do that.
It would be hilarious because Spider UK is not Peter Parker. He's Brian Braddock. So he wouldn't even be playing a Peter Parker.
That's even better. Okay. I have good odds on that then. That's what I want to see happen. Because, like, I don't know. I feel like they probably wouldn't do Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield for Across the Spider-Verse. I mean, they might, but I feel like it'd be sooner just put in, like, a Tom Holland cameo, you know?
Yeah.
So, we'll see. Your turn.
Yes. The Pepe Sylvia Award for Most Strings on Our Conspiracy Board. The winner of this award is Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, with Deltarune Chapter 2 as the runner-up.
This one is extremely obvious, because I don't know if you listened to that episode. There's like 5 minutes of us talking about the video game part of the video game, and like an hour and a half of us losing our minds over the crazy horse shit that happens in it instead.
We spend about 20 minutes talking about the 4 or 5 hours of gameplay, and like an hour and a half about the last 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it's awesome. We speak extensively about like the tone of Zach's voice in that last scene, because we're like, when is this set? I mean, we're fully in the goop, people. We were
literally like, how much rust has accumulated on the Buster Sword?
Yeah, we can maybe pictures live on stream.
We can maybe use this to gauge how far in the future Zach was thrown.
And still, we have no answers.
We don't have anything.
What cruelty! What agony to tease us with something like that, and then be like, "See you in 2 years, fuckers."
Yeah, we didn't get so much
next year.
This year we didn't get so much as like a fucking hint, like a
teaser or nothing.
the Game Awards didn't like show the party walking into calm.
No.
Not even that.
And the thing is that, I mean, I already knew it was going to be like next year, even though I know a lot of people were hoping it would be next year. I will tell you it's not, because next year is Final Fantasy 16, and they're not going to do anything to steal that hype.
Next year is 16 in Kingdom Hearts content because it's been 20 years.
Right.
And
oh yeah, that's a good point.
I don't like to think about that a franchise that came out on the PS2
is now 20 years old.
Is 2 decades old.
Oh.
I do not like to think about that.
Wait. No.
Yes. Kingdom Hearts 1 came out in 2002.
2002?
Yes.
No.
I was in junior high.
Oh my god. I guess so, because I was really young when we played Kingdom Hearts. That's right.
Do you think I would not know the year Kingdom Hearts 1 came out?
That's actually a good point. But that means there was a huge gap between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2.
4 years, yeah, that's why Chain of Memories came out, I think 2 years later. Like, it was 2 years in between.
Okay.
Like 3 was the... Dream No Distance to 3 was the longest gap between
Kingdom Hearts games.
Like, numbered titles that move the story forward.
Right.
Like, because they had the PS3 re-releases in the midst in there.
Count.
But yeah, from I mean, I guess if you want to count Point 2 as a release, but like as a fully fledged title, because Dream No Distance came out in 2012 and 3 came out in 18. No? 19. 19. Yep.
19.
Yeah, so
I guess so, huh? That's right, because it came out the same year that Devil May Cry 5 came out.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that is a pretty long gap then. But still, that's just, oh god, 20 years, huh?
I know. So we're not gonna get any answers to what the fuck Zach is up to.
We're not gonna know what the fuck is good. I don't know. They might do like a trailer at E3, like a small teaser.
Yeah.
But like, we're not getting anything like properly released. Now
that we're still in the dark times, but like we have gotten to the point where we can adapt now, so we're actually going to expect content.
Yeah, you can
from
actually
E3.
We've
all figured out how to work from home.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a thing that, speaking of Final Fantasy 16, they actually announced that it was delayed by 6 months. They said basically like, yeah, we said there would be information about 16 at the end of this year. We're still adapting to work from home issues and stuff like that. So we're delaying it by 6 months. So you'll get information about 16 like in spring of 2022. So, they're being very forward about it at least, which I appreciate, but it's obvious that because like if 16 has been affected by this, then so has probably every other like wing of Square Enix.
It just cascades.
It all just, there's just, it is kind of an adjustment period to working from home, especially like game development working from home. That has to be really hard because like I make art working from home, and like the server I work off of is in Michigan, and like sometimes trying to get shit off that server for just like little piddly Photoshop files is a huge nightmare, right?
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean,
game assets are
to be fair. You work for a t-shirt company in Grand Rapids, or not Grand Rapids, in and the staff at Square Enix works at Square Enix.
That's true. So they probably have much crazier. Plus, a lot of that team lives in Tokyo with like or at least in Japan, with way better internet infrastructure than my apartment in Alabama.
Fair. Do you know what they're really good at in Japan? Good internet.
Yeah, that is very true. You're right.
Like, oh, we're gonna work.
Your experiences are not universal. Is the point here?
We're gonna work from home. We live in the same city.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Look, shut up. The point is,
yeah, it's an adjustment period, but
it's an adjustment period. It's gonna be a really long time before I hear anything about Part 2 of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
And yeah, Deltarune Chapter 2 left us with a lot of questions, but like, I don't know, it's not quite the same because like, yeah, it's Deltarune. Of course we're gonna have questions. It's Toby Fox.
Sure, it's Toby Fox. And the other thing is that, like, I don't know, the questions in I feel like with questions in Deltarune, after the initial kind of pondering phase, like after you get done with the game, right? You go, okay, well, I'm going to put that away in a box in my brain, and eventually Chapter 3 will come out, and I will get a couple more answers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something about, like, what's going on, maybe because it's Final Fantasy... No, there is no maybe.
Yeah,
it is because it's Final Fantasy VII, and they're doing things that are different with Final Fantasy VII that it's making me insane, right?
Like, if this was a hypothetical thing where, like, this is the, like, this was Final Fantasy VII 2...
Right.
And it was like, oh, wow, Zack is alive now after the events of Final Fantasy 1 or 7. That's interesting. I wonder where that's going to go. Versus like, oh, we just went back and changed all the events in 7.
Yes. Like, the thing is that everybody on planet Earth now has been, like, granted, like, the ultimate cruelty, right? We all now have hope in our hearts that the big spoiler for Final Fantasy VII isn't going to happen, right?
We don't want to hope.
We don't want to hope, because if we let ourselves think that the big spoiler won't happen, and then it does happen, it's going to hurt all over again. It'll hurt even worse. Like... Truly, this is the cruelest. Nomura being like, yeah, hey, Zack's alive, huh? How about that? Suddenly you can just, like, see the hamster in the wheel in my brain just start, like, it finally gets off of its little pudgy ass and starts running and is like, hang on a second, Zack's alive. Does that... No. Because
then it becomes, well, what's sadder than Aerith dying? Mm-hmm. How about Zack cradling Aerith's body as she dies?
Yeah, or I mean, even just like giving us the idea, letting us think that it won't happen, and letting us like really think it. You know, like at this point, people are like starting to actually entertain the idea that it won't happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're all like, but I mean, like, they're changing so much stuff and they're free from fate. Yeah, that's how the game ends.
Yeah.
So, maybe. And then it would happen anyways. And now that we all have all this hope, our hearts would break all over again. This cruelty is what it is. Nomura is a monster.
What if we hit credits on part 4 and the story is over? And they're both still alive.
I love, by the way, this implication there's going to be 4 parts. I like that. If they're both still alive, I don't know.
What are you going to do with your life?
I don't know. So, okay, this is related. When I finished Madoka Rebellion, the 3rd Madoka movie, I literally, after I turned the movie off, I literally went into my bedroom, turned off the lights, and just laid on my bed and stared at the ceiling for like 45 minutes as like my entire brain had to like put itself back together with this new conception of this franchise I really love, right? Mm-hmm. Like I had what can only be described as an anime-induced existential crisis. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's what will happen if I end Final Fantasy VII Remake and they're both alive.
What? Can you... Like, Nomura's like, hey, you know how much, the end of Disc 1 sucked and hurt?
Mm-hmm.
You know how much the ending of Crisis Core hurt?
Yeah.
What if it stopped hurting?
What if I said I'm sorry for hurting you so much? And it's like...
What if I took that pain away and you're just like, But
I was so used to it. I don't know what I would do. I probably would have another existential crisis.
In a way it would hurt more.
It would be, I don't know. I feel like it would piss off a lot of people because a lot of people are like, and I get it. Those deaths do mean something. Mm-hmm. But like, that original media still exists. You can still go back and feel those feelings. So like, I don't know. I guess I'd be happy. I would be confused. I would probably spend the rest of my life as like a shrieking ghost wandering the halls of my house being like, nothing makes sense anymore.
It would fucking be like Dark Souls, where like when you finally accomplish your life's goal is when you hollow out.
Yeah. It's like Bloodborne. You gain too much insight and suddenly you can start seeing all the tentacle monsters crawling all over everything. I assume that's what will happen to me. I will start seeing the tentacle monsters everywhere if they end the game and Zack and Aerith are still alive.
And then Nomura is like, and now you know.
And now you know. And it's like, no, forbidden knowledge.
Very quiet, but very powerful. Now you know why.
Oh, God. Okay, we gotta move on.
Is
it my turn?
Yes.
Next up is the Quantic Dream Award for Excellence in Immediate Hype Deflation. And it goes to, imagine this, Quantic Dream.
The Quantic Dream Award, sponsored by Quantic Dream, goes to Quantic Dream. I've never seen such a collective deflate.
Oh, I know.
After that Star Wars trailer.
And it was a good trailer too, right?
It was a very artistic and confusing and interesting trailer.
It was like, oh, this is because like we were all watching the Game Awards together, and it's like, oh, this is Star Wars. This is like because it starts out really weird, but
it's got like guys like orc-looking dudes like playing like tribal drums.
Yeah, and so it has like this kind of like this really moody tone and atmosphere, and you can tell it's a space game, but you're like, is this Star Wars? Because like the tech doesn't quite look the same, and
you don't see a spaceship, you don't see a lightsaber.
No, you after a little while you eventually see a spaceship, but it doesn't look like a Star Wars spaceship. Mm-hmm. And the only way we actually knew that we were watching a Star Wars is when we saw what's his face? It's a Trap.
Yeah, we saw like an alien that is like, oh, you're from Star Wars.
Yeah,
like,
it's a Star Wars alien.
Yeah.
Admiral Akbar. There you go. His species of like squid people. We saw one of him. And you're like, oh shit, this is a Star Wars. But it has like this cool moody tone. It just like everybody's like really getting into it. We're like, yeah, this is like a cool like, Star Wars.
It's like, it's a cinematic, but like they're showing things that are interesting, and it's like intriguing because like, ooh, that's not what you normally get out of like big budget Star Wars things nowadays. Is know, there's no Skywalkers showing up, and
there's no Skywalkers, there's no lightsabers. It's all very just like is setting a really unique and interesting tone, so everybody's kind of like nodding along and they're getting into it.
Yeah.
And then it says Quantic Dream.
and then you hear Wooly literally die on camera.
The pain, the agony, the suffering.
I watched Wooly's reaction, Video Games, when like all four of them just died.
It's agony.
What's her name? The girl who leads like the Sonic fan dub team.
Penny something or
yeah,
other.
Penny Parker. Like she also had just a really great, oh god, no.
The tragedy of it all. You finally did it. You made a thing like a Star Wars video game thing that I could find myself caring about, you know, because it seemed different and unique. And then you attached Quantic Dream to it, and it's like, why?
It was one of those things where, like, I think we talked about the rumor of Quantic Dream doing a Star Wars game. We talked about it on the podcast, and it was just such a dumb idea that I think we both just kind of like dismissed it and forgot it was going to be happening.
I kind of thought it would still happen, but because it was a rumor, I didn't think we would be seeing any kind of a trailer so soon, right? Like, I thought, I thought we were still in the Quantic Dream and Disney are in talks to do a Star Wars, you know?
Right.
So I thought, okay, well, we're kicking this can down the road. This isn't going to be for another 2 or 3 years at minimum. And nope, it was real. The deal has already been done. They have a trailer already. So great.
You know what's gonna suck is
it's probably gonna be a perfectly competent video game.
Well, it's probably not going to have the David Cage stank all over it because he won't have full control over it.
He is directing. I know, or at least I think he is actually confirmed to be directing. I do know that he's at the very least like highly involved in it because he owns a majority stake in that company. That's why when all this shit was going down with Quantic Dream getting sued for, discrimination and harassment, they couldn't just fire him because he is a majority owner of Quantic Dream. Like, it's his company.
But you think Disney is going to let him do anything artistic? And artistic is in big quotes, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, they're not going to let him do any of his auteur shit, even a little bit. So, I think this will be a perfectly competent video game, but I do think it will still be deeply stupid.
It will, but like the I guess ironically disappointing thing is that it won't even make for a good
bad video game.
A good analysis, because we talked for 3 hours about Detroit. That was we had so much to talk about. Yeah,
because there was just so much. You really do, as much as I dislike David Cage, those games do give you just an excellent view into that man's head, and I don't think we'll get anything like that in this Star Wars Quantic Dream game. I could be wrong, but I assume.
No, Mickey Mouse is going to hold up a barrier to shield us from 30% of...
No, Mickey Mouse is not going to be holding up a barrier. Mickey Mouse is going to be standing behind David Cage with a gun. That's how it's going to work. They're like, try anything, motherfucker.
It's gonna filter out 30 to 40% of the garbage, and he's just gonna fill the rest with water.
Yeah, that's true. And
so
still gonna have garbage in it, so you're still gonna have stanky garbage water.
But it's not gonna be as toxic as it could have been.
So it's just gonna be boring, probably.
Yeah.
Damn. Sure. I was just man, come on.
This might ironically turn out to be David Cage's best game, and it'll still be bad because it's not as David Cage as it could have been.
Right. We're talking, this is a, an Indigo Prophecy situation.
Yeah.
Where it's going to start, and you'll be like, this is pretty okay. And it's going to keep going, and you'll be like, never mind.
Yeah. When we're going to hit the percentage. Fuck! God damn it, though. You know what? He has a perfectly good excuse to do random weird ghosts now.
He's gonna be able to do all of his weird, fucked up David Cage ghosts because there's gonna be Force ghosts running around. We got canon ghosts. I know. It's a perfect fit for Star Wars.
And what is Star Wars if not just a weird mishmash of 100 different cultures? Except it won't feel I guess as racist. Star Wars is a mishmash of cultures, but it's not quite as racist as a David Cage game.
You say that, but there's Jar Jar Binks just right there, man.
Yeah, that's why I said as racist. if
comparatively speaking,
in a David Cage game, that would just be a black guy.
That's true. Yeah, good point. Oh god. Yeah. What a way to kill the hype. What a way to kill everybody's excitement. You gotta M. Night Shyamalan it. You know how like M. Night Shyamalan put out God, like the you remember that movie that was like about like being trapped in an elevator with the devil?
Yeah.
That
Wasn't
movie,
it just called Devil?
It was called Devil, and that's an M. Night Shyamalan movie. And when they were advertising it, they didn't say it was an M. Night Shyamalan movie. You know what I mean?
They just have to quietly cut the Quantic Dream logo out of every trailer, like end it 2 seconds early.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I just think the irony of like finally there's a genre, like a series where David Cage can do all of his stupid bullshit, and like as a result of him, like it's the George Lucas thing.
Oh yeah, nobody's gonna stop him.
He's given the power to do all his dumb shit, and so now it'll be really boring because like there's nothing. He doesn't even have like the internal filter of I must make the artistic game anymore because it's a Disney product that is going to, you know, they're going to be make it more like mush.
Yeah, make it just a, you know, nondescript gray goo that all Star Wars has become, you know. The point is,
it's just
Next
award is the Joker Award for most surprising guest fighter. Can you
tell that Ben made this one?
It of course goes to Sora finally getting to be in Smash with Garfield as the runner-up.
Oh, I'm really sad that the rumor that Garfield wasn't playable on Mondays ended up not being true.
That would be amazing if it was true, because I just love all the memes where it's like you're at fucking Evo and it's Monday night.
And you're just fucked.
Garfield mains and Evo on Monday night, and it's just like the pink crying Wojak.
Yeah, they should have done it. They should have gone for it. That would have been really funny.
You need to have like a pocket Helga in case you get caught in that situation.
Yeah, you have to tech playing somebody else in the event. You find yourself trying to play Garfield on a Monday. Yeah.
If you're going up against like the best Garfield fighter in the world, like your counter pick is scheduling.
What you do is you hack Evo, like, to change the schedule around.
Change the Switch's internal calendar. You're fucking up against like fucking Sonic Fox.
Playing Garfield.
And
I love this version of reality.
You just go in and switch the calendar like back a day, and now they're like totally screwed.
I love this. I love this idea of Sonic Fox playing Garfield and the idea that Nick All-Star Brawl is now going to be at Evo. It's like on the main stage at Evo.
If they get the voice DLC, then like, you know, it could actually be a contender.
Off. Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, like, who else would Sonic Fox main but, you know, Garfield, right?
Sure.
Like, or I guess Cat Dog is there too.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my god. But no, Sora got into Smash.
No, it finally, like, I can still go and watch that trailer for instant serotonin.
Sure, absolutely.
Just like immediate.
Instant serotonin, just press play. Yeah, 100%.
Just watch right to the part where Hikari starts playing.
Sure.
Like the orchestral version of Hikari starts playing. It's like, oh yeah, there it is, right there.
There's my happiness and my joy. Yeah, I mean we've talked extensively about Sora getting into Smash in that episode of the pod.
We did, but like it is funny because like a lot of like people are memeing now about like, because there was an interview afterwards where it's like you know, Mario is not a Keyblade master, so what he threw couldn't be the Keyblade.
Right.
It had to be the Keyblade's natural enemy. And so now I'm like waiting for like a part in the next Kingdom Hearts game where Yensid is like, oh yeah, in a Keyblade's primal form, it takes the form of like a spire of flame.
Nomura would do that. He would
totally
explain
would.
how the lore of the Smash reveal trailer works.
They
being like, no, we're leaving no stones unturned.
Someone did the math and it fits in between Chain of Memories and 2.
My God, of course somebody did it.
Because there's the bit where in the 2 opening where Sora's falling through a pillar of light after Naminé puts him in like the memory pod.
Yeah.
And if you sync it up, that's exactly what he's doing when he comes out of the door in Smash.
Nomura thought of everything. He's like, I am going to fit this into canon. Fuck you. You do have to play Smash Brothers.
Or like when like Riku and Kairi reunite with Sora, like in the next game, like there's just a bit where Sora's like, yeah, I had to fight a bunch of guys to get to where I am.
It was crazy. Oh my God. Okay.
Oh God.
Oh, I'm up. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. So, the Dragon Quest Award for release with the biggest impact on people's PTO goes to Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn Endwalker. I love that they delayed it by 2 weeks, the release, and literally all of Twitter. That's how you know that everybody who plays Final Fantasy XIV is like a grown up, because like instantly my timeline was full of people going, "My PTO, no!"
Suddenly I have to tell my boss, like, "Oh yeah, my vacation out of town got postponed
for 2 weeks. That's it, just 2 weeks. So can I have that time instead?" I guess they were nice enough to give people a 2-week heads up, because that's like usually the window for when you can start asking for time off, right?
I want to bet that's why they timed it that way.
They were like, well, we really only need to push it back a week. And then somebody was like, no, people need to have time to ask for that off.
Yeah, Yoshi P is like, no, we have to get it 2 weeks out.
I guess it's time, gives more time for bug fixes and letting people request their time off.
You could tell he felt really bad about it, too.
He's a cool guy. Everybody basically on planet Earth agrees that Yoshi P is like a very cool dude. Because like, they're very, I like that, I was talking earlier about the Final Fantasy 16 delay. I like that about the 14 and the 16 team, because they're both headed by Yoshi P. Like, they're very open about everything going on in development. They're like, this is happening because of this, and we apologize. Please be patient with us, Like, there's no smoke and mirrors. There's no, it'll be done when it's done. It's like, well, we have to push it back for X, Y, and Z reasons.
Yeah.
We hope you understand. And of course, because they are being very reasonable, everybody is like, oh yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. We love you. You're the nicest man in the universe. So, I'm looking forward to finally playing this godforsaken game.
You're gonna dive right in New Year's Day.
New Year's Day. I'm not streaming it. I don't feel like doing that. But I will play it New Year's Day and try to actually get going. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll spend every roundup episode for the next 6 months going like slowly insane with Final Fantasy 14.
Here's your 14 update for the week.
That's Eorzea you're walking into.
You're gonna be my Pat.
I am. I'm here to tell you what's going on in Final Fantasy 14.
So I
can't believe that Wooly doesn't play Final Fantasy 14.
I think he tried, but like he just doesn't do MMOs,
That's fair. That's totally fair. I don't do MMOs either, but we're gonna try.
It's just that we need to set up like webcams so that you can watch me die while you talk about it. And then, you can just go on and on about leveling up and like equipment slots.
It'll be great. I can't wait. I'm gonna be driven increasingly insane by Final Fantasy 14 because it had to happen eventually. So here we are.
Yeah, be excited for that Eorzea you're walking into, because that'll probably consume a month or two next year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you're up.
Next is the Cyberpunk Award for Biggest Failure Spectacle at Launch.
Yay!
The winner of this is the Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition with New World as the runner-up. New World being the runner-up because we all knew this was going to happen. It's not even a surprise.
No. That game is a nightmare. Amazon thinks they can just throw money at a problem and that'll fix everything, but like they don't really have like experienced devs on staff. Like they have a lot of young people, and they're crunching people, super hard. So on top of being inexperienced and crunched, it's just like a huge nightmare from the word go. They're just not taking enough time to fix problems. And it's kind of spiraling. I mean, people are still playing it for some godforsaken reason. But maybe there's an appeal in there that I just don't see. I heard that PvP is really good. I also heard that PvP is full of assholes, which doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, it's PvP, so yes.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that's why people are still playing it. Maybe people are still playing it because it's so broken and people like playing an extremely broken-ass MMO.
Yeah.
That
That's
might be fun.
76 survived for as long as it did.
Yeah, until it finally kind of became a functional game now, sort of. Question mark. But no, the Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition being the way it is incredible.
So when I was in college, I think I've talked on the podcast about how I went to get to college for game production. I have 2 bachelors, one of them in game production.
Sure.
So when I took classes on 3D modeling, and that's about what they looked like.
Yeah, that's okay. You were in college and learning, so it makes sense for your models to not. You weren't getting paid. You were paying somebody else to make these models. These people got paid, and it looks really bad.
They put the wrong number on the back of the guy's jersey.
Yeah.
You can see where it's still like pushed out.
And those rain effects where you can't see anything.
The rain effects that gave me a headache just watching clips of it.
Yeah. The busted ass physics. Apparently the car getting wide by wiggling it is like an OG glitch.
Yeah.
From from the old PS2 releases, which I think is hilarious. But like all the faces are all fucked up. They fucked up the donut hole gag.
Yeah.
Because like
they just fucking smoothed literally every single object in the game.
Yeah. From what I can tell, like reading online, the reason it looks like that is because they just they did the cheapest remaster possible, where they went in and they just added extra. And I'm talking not as an expert. This is just kind of like what I read. I don't know anything about modeling or game design. But they just added extra vertices to like all of the models to make them look smoother. And that's it. That's like all they did.
They didn't go back and like check well, did this fuck anything up? No. Okay.
Well, yeah. So everybody looks like weird and their faces are all melty and the lighting is all busted. They took away the fog, even though the fog was like really important to obscure the fact that you're not actually on a planet. You're just on you're in a box floating in space, that stuff's really important. You have to obfuscate things a little bit. You can't
actually have a lot of draw distance in an old school Grand Theft Auto game. It's actually very important that you don't.
Because it's a PS2 game. They didn't take that kind of thing into account. If you're gonna do that, you have to make the map itself larger.
There's also a reason there's a lot of fog in Silent Hill games.
Yeah.
It's designed to hide things.
And if you're gonna take that fog away, you need to take that into account and do something different. In Silent Hill's case, you just leave the fog. But in like Grand Theft Auto, if you're gonna take away fog, you gotta like make the world space bigger. Like that's the reason. Like we've played a lot of Fallout on this podcast. You ever wonder why, like, when you get to the edge of the map, there's so much map after, like, they tell you can't go this way, but you're, like, standing and you can see all that extra shit. And you're like, why can't I go there? It's because they're just putting world there so that you don't see the edge of the map.
Yeah, so it's not like a fucking Mario 64 map,
right?
Where like you can just see the edges.
Yeah, no, like they put that shit there so that you are given the illusion of like a continuous world, and not that you're actually just floating on a box in space, which is what all video game worlds are. Like, you have to do that. you have to change something.
This is it almost feels like it would have been, they did more work than what they needed to do, which was just make the textures high res and like adjust the lighting a bit, and then put it, like, remember like the first early trailers where everyone kind of looked like they were made of clay, but it still like had like a style to it.
Yeah,
it's like that was all you needed to do.
That's it. That's all you needed. It's insane to me. I mean, like, now we know. So we know that before the definitive edition came out, Rockstar DMCA'd like basically every Grand Theft Auto OG mod. And we know that now is almost certainly to hide the fact that the mods make the game look better.
Yeah.
Shit made like for free by fans looked significantly better than this definitive edition they were selling for $50. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, that, because like I've literally just seen like, shots comparing like modded versions of Grand Theft Auto to what the definitive edition looks like. It's like, oh yeah, one of these was made in somebody's basement just for funsies because they like the game so much. And it's not the one that looks bad. It's the one that looks really good. Great. Good job, guys. It's just like the cheapest possible conversion.
Shove it out the door.
Just shove it out the door. People will eat it up,
I was really excited to play Vice City again.
Yeah, I know. I guess, I think you can still buy like the OG PC versions.
I think they put the original versions back online while they took the definitive edition down.
Yeah. I think the definitive edition is back up now. I'm not sure. But you can still, you had to buy it through the Rockstar Games like launcher or whatever. But you can still just like buy Vice City, which is what you should do instead. Just go buy like the original versions of Vice City and stuff. The mods still exist out there on the internet. You can't get rid of them. They're still out there somewhere. So, yeah, what a nightmare. Up next.
Just fucking playing like Tainted Love on like a broken kazoo.
Okay, next up is the Redacted in Minecraft Award for management that really deserve it. If you know what I mean.
Parody Minecraft, Redacted.
Central Park.
Yeah.
Do it in Roblox, wink, nudge, nudge.
Like, I'm just saying, some people need their kneecaps broken, and there aren't kneecaps in Minecraft models, so you gotta get creative.
That being said, our runner-up is Ubisoft. Our winner is ActiBliz, for obvious reasons.
Which the reasons keep getting worse and worse every week.
Apparently, as of today, somebody on Reset Era was reporting that somebody at Blizz is a member of a right-wing in gaming community that exists to out trans people and harass them in the game industry. So
I have to like, do they have a fucking checklist that they're just going down?
Right? I just think, it's that same old, just like, well, yeah, this guy has worked here for years. We can't fire him.
It fucking feels like a Simpsons bit.
Where it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah, like characters, like it's getting comical in how much eviler the next person is.
Just a constant stream of somebody doing horrible things.
Like, it doesn't... You would think the fucking Cosby suite would be like the peak, right?
No, but then we find out that they had to put locks on the fridge that had people's breast milk in it. And you know, Bobby Kotick threatened to kill somebody if she talked about him hitting on her. Stuff like that. Like, it's just endless. There's always it doesn't stop. It's incredible.
Like, when do we find out someone actually did murder someone?
I am positive that Bobby Kotick has killed somebody at this point. Like
where are we? When are we gonna get the thing where like an intern is like, yeah, one day Bobby Kotick came to the office with a gun and just shot this developer at their cubicle.
I wonder if maybe it's that another member of like the Activision Blizzard board has killed somebody and Kotick knows about it, and that's why they refuse to fire him. You know, like, that's why, is because he otherwise he'll tell their secret too. Bobby Kotick knows where the bodies are buried, and that's why he still has his job, despite the fact that everybody wants him gone. So, like, you know,
it's just gonna fucking be like, you know, someone's gonna finally come out and say like, oh yeah, Bobby Kotick kidnapped my son and still has him in a basement somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. It just never ends. It's incredible to me. I mean, like, I'm almost impressed. I'm mostly horrified, but I'm almost impressed by the breadth and depth of how horrible they are.
You really rarely get it as directly as this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, oh, Bobby Kotick, like, donated $100,000 to a group that, like, has anti-abortion policies.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, okay, well, yeah, that's really, really shitty and awful.
But it's like an indirect kind of thing, right?
But, like, this is, like, Bobby Kotick, like, prevented a woman from getting an abortion at gunpoint.
Right, yeah.
Is what we're gonna find out.
Yeah, I mean, he, like we said, he did actively threaten to kill someone.
Like, Bobby Kotick burned down an abortion clinic.
Yeah.
Himself. Like,
with all the people still inside, you know?
Here's a photo of him with the torch. Wearing a Tracer t-shirt.
Laughing maniacally in front of the fire, yeah.
Wait, no, what was that? No, that was a Sony exec, wasn't it?
That was the Sony exec who was trawling for underage boys on the internet. He was wearing a PS5 fucking t-shirt. Like, are you kidding me, bro? Ride or die for the company. Oh my god. That dude got fired ASAP, by the way. He's already gone. Yeah. So, yeah, no, it's just, you know, unionize your workplace. So when our Hanzo and Cassidy getting married, so that we can sweep this under the rug. We're gonna hide this one too. Yeah, exactly. No, unionize your game development studios. Fuck Activision Blizzard. We didn't talk about it too much, but also fuck Ubisoft. I mean, Ubisoft. We don't really need to, you know, because like Ubisoft's woes, indiscretions are far-reaching and well known. At least Active Blizzard doesn't owe money to another country's government. Yeah. I actually would not be surprised because apparently, Ubisoft announced they were doing like an NFT thing, and then they immediately killed it. And for like the handful of days that thing was live, it was a bomb. Like, that is why they killed it. It wasn't because like people were so pissed. It was because it was a huge fucking disaster. And I mean, like, it costs money to mint NFTs. Like, you have to spend money to get the thing on the blockchain, right? Like, it's not free. Right. So they spent that money and then they killed the program because it was such a huge disaster. Unless Far Cry 6 just did gangbusters and I don't know about it. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Ubisoft like went into Title 11 or something this year.
I could totally see
like,
it. Like,
I definitely kind of think that we're kind of spiraling toward one of the big companies taking like a huge hit.
Like just actually going under, not like getting absorbed by another company. Like actually, like we have to shutter our industry.
Yeah. And I think if anybody is going to like shut down and have their assets sold off to all the different, the other major companies that would love to have those properties, it would probably be Ubisoft, because they are in pretty dire straits. I mean, like just with the government of Singapore, like they owe a lot of money to Singapore, and like they're deep in a sunk cost fallacy. Like the amount of money that Skull and Bones would have to make up for the losses that it's generated, it would make it one of the best-selling video games of all time. You know what I mean? Which is not going to happen. Skull and Bones is not going to move those kind of units. It's not going to.
Every day that goes by without Skull and Bones getting made is like $10,000 that Ubisoft loses.
Yeah, somebody is just like keeping track of how much money it's costing to not put out Skull and Bones at this point. Like, it's incredible. So yeah, I mean, they also have like a lot of workplace abuse issues and stuff like that. Apparently, Ubisoft is hemorrhaging talent like bad. They just can't keep anybody, which again, shocker.
And it's like, Ubisoft and Riot and like Quantic Dream, like those allegations didn't go away.
No, they're still there.
It's just that ActiBliz is so diabolical.
Yes, absolutely.
That it's hard to talk, like, it's hard to bring it up besides, like, oh yeah, they're still at it over there too. But like, Bobby Kotick ran over someone's dog today.
God. Okay, next. This is you. This is the last award for the night, except for our top 3.
Yeah. We have the Gotcha Bitch Award for Mutually Assured Obsession.
This is an award that happens when Ben and I trick each other into getting into something, and then it eats our lives.
So the winner of this one is Transformers. The runner-up is FGO, and the runner-up is FGO is because I was already into Fate.
Right.
When you convinced me to get into FGO.
Sure, yeah.
You didn't know a single goddamn thing about Transformers, and I was like, read this comic book now.
Yeah, and then it took me like 7 months to actually read the comic. But I was just like bored one day, like at the beginning of the year. And I was like, fine, I'll read Transformers. And then it ate my life. So I did my Tumblr is doing like their little end of year recap, and it shows you like what your most popular posts and tags are, right? So I did mine, and I looked at it. My two most popular tags on my Tumblr right now are Transformers and Great Ace Attorney, because those are the two things that make my life. Okay, here's the thing. The Transformers tag has 10 times as much content in it as the Great Ace Attorney tag. So that lets you know exactly how much I've been posting about it.
I expected you to get into this comic, and that would be the thing. It's like,
sure.
It's like Rise. Like, you don't care about TMNT outside of Rise.
Right, yeah.
I was really like, okay, she'll really like More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light, and then, that'll be the cap. And then you're like, oh, I watched Prime.
Ben's like, oh, she watched Prime. Okay. Well, she's in. Got her.
Like, oh, we've seen the 86 movie like 5 times already.
Yeah, we saw the 86 movie in theaters. We both own the Blu-ray. We have watched the bootleg on YouTube multiple times.
You're like, I bought War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron.
Yep, I did do that. Still need to finish them. But I bought those. I'm not a toy person. I've never been a toy person. I probably won't keep buying Transformers unless I just see something I really love. But I did buy the Flame Toys Megatron Farai model. I bought the Rodimus Flame toys for iModel, and I bought the reissue of the Prime Soundwave. So like I own toys.
evil voice.
Yep,
third party.
So I own toys. I bought a stuffed Grimlock. So you know,
how does it feel to have opinions about different versions of Optimus Prime?
Oh God, it's horrible. I never thought I'd be here.
Did you ever think you would get to this point where you're like, I like Animated's like cocky strut, but the wisdom of Prime is also
absolutely.
strong.
I also really like how much of like a sad old dad vibes that Prime Optimus has. I just think that Animated Optimus is very funny.
I think the best indication of what Prime's personality is the bit where the kids are like, "Hey Optimus, want to watch a funny video?" And he's like, No.
It's so funny to me still. It is 100% the best joke in that whole show. Because it's just it's really funny to like have just like the Optimus Prime voice say that. Like, no. Like, oh, okay. Well, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, no, it was great. I like that you have now developed opinions about farming teams and how to effectively play Fate Grand Order. How's that feel, buddy?
Now Dave is getting into it, so now I'm becoming Dave's you.
Oh my God, so he's still playing it?
Yeah, he did. He got Nightingale.
Oh my God, good for him!
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's a hard carry. That's a great carry for like the whole early game.
At the start of the event, I'm like, yeah, you just got to finish the event and, Nightingale will unlock, because that's how it usually works. Unlike this time. Because, so like, I get to the end and he's like, I didn't unlock Nightingale. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, bud. I was wrong. You have to do 5 sets of boxes.
You have to do the box, but that's not that hard. 5 sets of boxes. It's really not that many boxes.
It's not. It's not hard when you have the AP to do it.
Oh, that's true.
If you don't have AP and apples, you're really scrounging for.
That's true. He is extremely new.
He did tell me, like, he's like, so when I just get the thing, should I just reset the box? And I'm like, yeah, you're aiming for Nightingale here. You're not
that's
aiming
fair.
for resources.
Yeah, you can't really effectively clear every single box.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, then you're just, like, really eating into your AP and your golden apples, which you don't have a lot of right now, so that makes sense.
Will he qualify for all the New Year stuff?
He might.
He started a month ago.
Oh, God, I hope so. I really hope so.
Because I think you get like 20 Saint Quartz a day or something.
You ultimately end up with like 100 Saint Quartz as like a new player that way.
Yeah.
The Stardust campaign is really good this year. I hope so. God, I hope so. Because that would definitely help a lot.
Yeah.
But we've got opinions on farming teams. We have like sitting around trying to hash out better battle strategies. You're like, hey, I've got a 5-star in every single class except for Saber. So yeah. Welcome to hell, buddy. I wish you were far enough in the storyline to be able to do the Sparrow Inn rerun, but you're not quite there yet.
I mean, now that a lot of the grind is over, I can get back to doing the story.
Yeah,
because now it's not like, oh man, this is a caster node and I don't have any good casters. Like now I have Da Vinci leveled up.
Yes, you can use Mini Vinci and she loops like a fiend, and it's super. I don't know. I love it. I think it's great. I do think that if you ever have I know that free time is a premium as adults, but if you ever do have a free time, watch the Christmas. I think it's Christmas 2 is the one with Ereshkigal. Watch that one. Like, actually read the plot for that one, and read the plot for this New Year's event that's getting a rerun, the Sparrow Inn.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're both really, they're legitimately good, right? They're not just like funny and cute. They're like Summer 3 kind of just of fond, heartwarming. Sparrow Inn actually has a lot of the same kind of funness of like Summer 3, where you get to see everybody hanging out and having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So you get like a lot of that kind of that, those warm and fuzzies.
Good.
And the Christmas event with Ereshkigal is just legitimately great. So, if you ever want to, like, I don't know, waste a night reading Fate Grand Order Story.
If it had voice acting, it would be easier, because I could also do Fate grinding while watching a Fate event. Yeah,
but that would be the most expensive gacha game in the entire universe, because it would still have to be dubbed too.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. We did it. We tricked each other into getting into stuff.
We did in a huge way this year.
And
you went from 0 Transformers knowledge to extensive Transformers knowledge.
Yeah, bordering on encyclopedic. We're getting there.
How does it feel to like be able to look at like a crowd shot and like point out most of the characters on it?
Absolutely wretched, because when I first started reading More Than Meets the Eye, I was texting you regularly going, I don't know who any of these fucking characters are. And then like at some point about halfway through, like a switch flipped, and I was like, I know who all of these characters are.
I think I said this like a couple, like when I first started getting it, like I had to like go page by page. Like I would read a page and then I would go back and say, okay,
who is
that's
this?
Whirl, that's Cyclonus, that's Ultra Magnus, that's Fortress Maximus.
The hard one was in the beginning was Fort Max and Magnus. Like,
yeah,
those are 2 big blocky blue robots.
Those
look the exact same to me.
I had Skids and Ultra Magnus mixed up a lot, because they are the same shade of blue, and they have very bulky shoulders.
Yeah, makes sense. I can see that. Yeah. But yeah, eventually it's like, oh no, I know who all these characters are, and then I was driven categorically insane. What are you gonna do?
It's easy because every Transformers character has like the best name of all time.
Right. Robot names are good.
Every name is a banger in Transformers. It's insane.
It's all winners all the way down.
Like, you ever think about how his name is Starscream?
It is a cool name. It is actually an extremely cool name.
You ever just stop and think about how separate from him squealing pathetic fools, there's no escape, and cowering from Megatron after Megatron looked at him angrily? You ever think
Starscream
about how
it's just a cool name?
How this motherfucker's name is Starscream?
Yeah, and the other 2 are Thundercracker and Skywarp, which are also really cool. Yeah.
Acid Storm. All the Seekers have such good names.
Slipstream. It's a good one.
And their team is the Seekers?
They're yeah, exactly.
Fucking come on!
Fuck off!
You ever think about how cool the names Autobot and Decepticon are?
Oh, God. Okay, that being said, we only have one more segment to go.
Yes.
And that is our top 3. It was going to be top 5, and then I realized I only had a couple of video games I really, really liked this year. So I didn't play a lot of video games either, but like I played enough to make a top 5 list, but unfortunately there weren't enough that qualified for a top 5 list. So we're doing top 3. Whoops. So Ben, do you want to go first?
Yes, I will go first. I think we're going to have at least one of these in common.
Okay.
I did have a top 5, but
okay.
My top 3 were number 3 is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Mm-hmm. And number 1 is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
That makes sense. So for me, it goes, number 3 is Deltarune. Number 2 is Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I know. You would think it would be number 1 considering how much I've eaten in my life, but like, hold on. Number 1 is 13 Sentinels.
Yeah, I figured you would have. But I'm looking at my list and like, we're going to have at least 2 of these in common.
Oh,
At least 1 for sure, probably 2.
Probably 2. 13. Technically, 13 Sentinels came out, well, it came out last year, but it came out this year for the Switch, so
Yes,
it counts.
It does indeed count.
We played it this year, and it came out this year for the Switch, so that means it counts.
2 of the games on this list consumed a month of our lives for podcasting.
Yeah. That is true. That's how you know it's good. There's so much shit to talk about that we have to set aside a massive amount of time in order to discuss it. Great Ace Attorney Chronicles is, I mean, obviously, we've talked extensively about this one. The only reason it's not number 1 is because I do think 13 Sentinels is just that good. You know?
13 Sentinels is straight up there with Disco Elysium in terms of everyone who owns a console that can run it needs to play this game.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
needs to.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it is so... Like, it's doing so much weird shit. It's so interesting and layered and complicated in, like, a really good way. And it's wild to me. To me, the craziest part of 13 Sentinels in a game that is bursting at the seams with crazy shit is how... Okay, when you play most stories or watch most stories that have, like, really complicated plots and there's a lot going on, usually at, like, the 50% mark, you are starting to figure things out, right?
Right.
Like, things are starting to fall into place.
Like an Ace Attorney case. So you're like, yeah. Oh, okay, so I get what happened in the room now.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know all the details.
Yeah,
but
I don't know where everyone was standing yet.
And I don't know, like, the why, and I'm pretty sure I know who actually killed the guy, but I'm not quite sure, like, how it all went down. But I'm getting an idea of what happened in this murder story, right? 13 Sentinels is not like that. You don't know what the fuck is going on until, like, the 75-80% mark. You are the majority of the way through the game.
You get to you will eventually hit 1 chapter that will make you go, oh, now it all clicks. And that's not until, like, the 75-80% mark.
And the game keeps giving you stuff where you think you figured it out. It's really good at that. It's extremely good at saying, like, here you go.
What the amazing thing for me about 13 Sentinels is that, like, I never felt confident in my wrong answer.
Yeah.
I was always like, wait, are they saying that, like, this was covered up? Is that why they're acting like this? Is this a cover up?
I thought
no, it's not. Oh, okay.
You're just wrong. You said, like, oh, so they're in space. And it's like, yes, but also no. You're still wrong, idiot.
Like, wait, so did they forget that they went back in time? And then you, like, wait like 5 hours and then go, oh no, I'm stupid and didn't know anything actually.
Yeah, it's insane to me. Like, it is completely fucking insane to me how much story is packed into this game. And how deftly it manages to oh god, it's crazy to me. There are so many character stories being told concurrently, and no matter what order you play things in, it all kind of slots together and makes sense. Like, they are juggling so many things. They're juggling the whole circus, you know what I mean? Like, you have so much going on.
This is a game that already has a very complicated plot line. And also stars 13 main characters.
Yes.
And by the end of it,
told non-linearly.
But they all feel so fully realized and endearing, and like you care so much about all of their interpersonal conflicts. This is a miracle of story writing.
It is insane to me. To me, like, that alone is what I mean, and the fact that it's also it has one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yes,
it is gorgeous. I mean,
absolutely,
like, it is stunning to look at. All the other two games on my top 3 are like, I mean, obviously Great Ace Attorney and Deltarune also have like fucking banger soundtracks.
Yeah, of course.
But like,
music's important.
Yeah, music's vital. But like 13 Sentinels is so fucking beautiful. It is hand drawn, hand painted. You know, there's so much, you'd look at it and there's so much like nostalgia for a place you've never been before. It just kind of captures these different vibes so expertly. I mean, Vanillaware always has beautiful art. They just make beautiful art for their games. And 13 Sentinels is such a good distillation of that. And yeah, I mean, it's just one of those games that still kind of like haunts your brain even out. It's another Disco Elysium.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's for totally different reasons, because it's not the same kind of political kind of ideologies being thrown around that Disco Elysium is throwing around, and obviously it's talking about different things, but in terms of like complicated layered storytelling that can only be done through the medium of a video game. Like
even as narratively driven and like game, like lack of quote unquote gameplay in it, this can only exist in the form of something you have to play with a controller.
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, the other two games on this, they kind of have the same thing going on. Great Ace Attorney, I feel like, is the one that you could most easily translate into like an anime. You know what I mean? But like 13 Sentinels is so quintessentially just a video game. It's a visual novel with a giant robot RTS segment or tower defense sequence in there as well. And the tower defense sequence is the least interesting part of the game, but it is perfectly serviceable, and a lot of explosions go off on your screen at the same time, and that's really, really satisfying, so I like that.
They sound effects sound nice, and everyone has little like dialogue barks that are all really good, and it's fun, and you can drop like a million turrets and a million drones and just annihilate everything.
You can literally just like rain hell from above with a mortar shot that literally covers the entire map in explosives. And frankly, I think that makes it good.
And there's a part where a J-pop singer leads you into the battle charge.
Yeah, she literally sings like an 80s style summer pop track while you fight alien robots in your giant mech. While
you do the only mission where you have to push toward a goal.
Yep.
And it fucking feels amazing.
It fucking owns. I have that song still stuck in my head constantly. So like, yeah, highly. I can't. Obviously, if you follow me on Twitter, every time 13 Sentinels goes on sale, I'm like, buy this video game. Do it. Like, you have no choice in the matter. You must play 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, because it's just that good. So, yeah. And thank God it came out on the Switch, so it actually can be my official fucking game of the year 2021, even though it came out in 2020. But now it counts. Although I can't imagine what the last battle is gonna run like on a Switch.
Oh, dog shit, I'm sure.
Dog shit. Can't wait to see that slideshow.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's fantastic. So obviously that's my game of the year.
Obviously. And we've also talked very extensively about Deltarune and about Great Ace Attorney, and Deltarune is also a fantastic pick, just because like Toby Fox is so good at what he does, and he does so much.
He does so much, and he navigates all of it so well, and is telling, like, I think a really interesting story that kind of can only be, because it's also about like agency in video games the way that Undertale is. So like it has to also be about Undertale. You know, like these are two games that are talking about the same, they're in conversation with one another at this point.
Yeah. That's an interesting way to put it. Deltarune is a game about Undertale.
It is a game about Undertale. It's a game about the same kind of things that Undertale was talking about, you know? And they are talking to each other through like what is going on in their stories. Because Undertale is a game about like extensive player choice, and then, you know, Deltarune is also ostensibly about having no choice, but like what does that actually mean, you know?
Yeah.
And I think when Deltarune is done, it's going to blow the back of our skulls off. It's just going to be something, because I mean, like, what we already have right now with 2 chapters is incredible. I
think by the end of it, Deltarune will surpass Undertale in just being like the ubiquitous game of its style.
Yeah, I think what's insane to me is that Deltarune is pulling it off. Like, to follow up something like Undertale, which is so, I mean, like, came out with such an explosion in 2015, and like really lit the world on fire in a big way, and sold gangbusters, was massively successful internationally, and it's like, well, how do you follow that up? Like, how that is a problem that so many artists have, of trying to follow up on their big hit, and so many artists fail at it because they just can't. You can't really. Lightning doesn't strike twice, you know?
Right.
But Deltarune really is doing it, unless he just really screws the pooch with the next couple chapters.
When you think about it in a way, Toby Fox is the best recycler of all time.
Oh, he's a genius. Yes, absolutely. Work smarter, not harder, is Toby Fox's philosophy.
Like all of his, you know, the whole thing about Deltarune, Undertale and Deltarune is like the recycled sound clips, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, that's a wonderful idea, or Big Shot, which we still don't know where Big Shot came from. Once we find out where Big Shot came from,
we'll understand everything.
Yeah. We found out where Queen's laugh came from.
Oh, really?
But I cannot remember what it was. It was like, it's someone's laugh from like, it's not super obscure, but you would never think it came from that. And I wish I could remember what it was now. I'll have to look it up afterward.
We'll Google it.
Yeah. But like, you know, he recycles Megalovania from his first original Earthbound hack.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's just a master of like taking themes from his previous works and recycling them into a new thing that references it, but also doesn't require you to have played it to fully grasp it. He's so great at repurposing old things.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I think chapter 2 was, I mean, it's weird to just put chapter 2 on like a game of the year list, but I do think it is genuinely good. It's apparently the longest chapter of the game. Mm-hmm. And there's like a lot of really interesting stuff going on with, you know, with Noelle and Birdly and all these different kind of characters. I still think like one of the like most like the quietest and like most like kind of, I wouldn't say moving, but nostalgic again, maybe, or melancholy kind of scenes in a game I've seen in a long time is the bit where Chris and Noelle are like walking and it's like spelling December as they walk.
Yeah.
And like they'll go behind screens and it'll show like Chris and Noelle when they were just like little babies instead. I don't know. It just had it just captured such a very specific mood, and with like a pretty simple graphical style, you know, that I think just it's just good tone. That is what Toby Fox is really good at, is like handling tone, being able to swing between these different tones really well and express like a feeling in a video game.
You get the feeling that Chris, when you do the walkarounds at the end of each chapter, you get the feeling that Chris wants so desperately to feel comfortable in this neighborhood.
Right.
And they can't.
Right. Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, it makes me think a lot of, like, this whole idea of managing tone makes me think a lot of, the old joke, Toby Fox will play an acoustic guitar and you will feel a feeling.
Yes.
And yeah, Deltarune is packed with fucking gills with stuff like that. So I'm sticking it on the Game of the Year list. I think it deserves everything. I'm looking forward to the next chapters. My runner-up, by the way, is just Disco Elysium again.
Again,
because the final cut came out this year.
Yeah.
So I can legally put Disco Elysium on a Game of the Year list for like the third time.
My runner-up is Yakuza 7, and I haven't even finished it yet. So I mean,
that counts.
But like, and then I will talk very briefly again about how much I like Rift Apart.
Sure, go for it.
So all 3 games on my list, I basically played with one consistent emotion.
Sure.
Like for 13 Sentinels, it was confusion. Just constant bafflement.
Sure.
With Great Ace Attorney, it was just the excitement and the thrill of solving mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
And getting to participate in that kind of thrill again with new cases and a new cast of characters and a new environment and stuff. I had a smile on my face from start to finish playing Rift Apart.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was never a point where I was not completely overjoyed with everything in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Insomniac can cram so much heart that you would never think could exist in a AAA game.
Right.
They, like, even, when you look at Spider-Man, you look at Miles Morales, and then you just look at their long and storied history with the Ratchet and Clank series, like, there is just so much unbridled, unapologetic fun and laughter crammed into these. People say like these games look like Pixar games, and they do. Rift Apart is probably the best looking game I've ever played. For sure.
Right, yeah, it looks like a Pixar movie for sure.
There's like Insomniac is just fucking showing off at this point. Like, you are bragging with this game.
This is just a flex at this point. Yeah. Calm down.
Here's a rainy neon city where fucking every surface has ray tracing on it.
And it looks good.
And oh, by the way, it's 60 FPS and there's no loading times as we instantly warp you to a whole new environment. Right. Fuck you.
We got that real big money now.
Your controller rumbles in different ways depending on which gun you're holding.
Yeah.
This is the PS5. We are Insomniac.
Yeah, and it's the beginning. It's too crazy to me. It's the beginning of the PS5.
This is the start.
Yeah, this is, again, I mean, like, you gotta think, I think a lot about how, like, Ghost of Tsushima looks like a next-gen game, but it came out on the PS4. And you think about, like, what launch titles for the PS4 looked like, and it's crazy that this is what Insomniac is getting out of the PS5 at launch. So imagine what'll happen in a couple years.
But the game, there's just so much like everyone working on this had fun and contributed like their brand of what they thought was a good joke or what they thought was a good heartfelt moment.
Sure.
The dialogue is so on point. The voice acting is as good as it's ever been. Mm-hmm. The cutscenes look immaculate. It's just I spent this whole game just like watching everyone's expressions and watching like the small little twitches of like their eyes or the way Ratchet and Rivet's ears would, move like an animal's would,
Right, yeah.
The way their tails would flick around. It's just breathtaking. There's so much good like ambient dialogue while you're in the midst of like fighting.
Mm-hmm.
There's this great bit where Rivet is trying to stay mad, or is it Yeah, it's Rivet is trying to stay mad because she thinks the others have abandoned her,
Right.
or she thinks that Kit has lied to her, and they're trying to escape from a facility that gets filled with laughing gas. So she
can't. She just keeps laughing through it.
She's laughing, but you can hear the strain in her voice trying to stay angry. It's so great, and people have complained a lot, like, or not a lot, but like people have complained recently about how like Ratchet has gone soft because like he's gone from like this kind of arrogant, like selfish protagonist to, you know, being a more altruistic hero.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's happened because this character has been around for like 8 games and character development happens.
Right, yeah, exactly. It would be weird if he stayed static.
Yeah, but that's what Rivet is, and you get that dynamic because they do the smart thing where they cross over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Rivet spends a lot of time with Clank, and Ratchet spends a lot of time with Kit, and so you get that fresh dynamic of, you know, the veteran hero versus with the newcomer.
Right, yeah,
and
exactly.
how that clashes. It's so great. I love it. There's a bit where when Ratchet first meets Kit, and she's kind of like, she's like early Clank, so she's very meek and timid, and she's kind of like self-doubting because she's used to, like, she was once this like war mech that gave up on being, you know, evil and gave up all her power, but she feels bad for hurting people in the past, and she doesn't want anyone to be her friend, basically, because she's afraid she'll hurt them in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And so Ratchet meets her, and they're you know talking. He's got to go do his adventure thing, so he's like, all right, so here's the deal. You and I will hang out for this little adventure, and if things go bad, which they won't, we'll go our separate ways. But if they go well, then you and I will stick together. And it was, I just love that, which they won't.
Yeah, the line read. Yeah.
Yeah, he's so good at it. Like, you can just tell that like every character like has so much fun playing up these kind of like Looney Tunes-esque characters.
Yeah, absolutely. It just feels like you said, everybody involved in the development of the game, from like the people who made the game to the voice actors and stuff, it just feels like everybody had fun.
Mm-hmm. There's so much, yeah, it's just a joy from the minute you press the X button.
Yeah, absolutely.
To after the credits, because you even during the credits, you get a fucking duet between Dr. Nefarious and Emperor Nefarious. A villain song between them. And you know someone was like, what if we had them sing a song over the credits? And the rest of the room was like, yes, perfect.
Genius, go to print. Yeah, no.
Why isn't Lawrence in this game? Oh, throw in a line where Dr. Nefarious mentions giving him paternity leave.
Yeah, it's just very like a video game ass video game.
Yeah, chock full of collectibles, but not in the Ubisoft way.
Right, like in the good way.
I'm in these objects are rotating slowly and bouncing up and down in the air kind of way.
Yeah, like proper old-fashioned platformer collectibles. Yeah.
And it shines, and you pick up a thing, and then Ratchet does a little animation when he picks it up, and he spins the giant gold bolt on his finger, and you get a cheat code out of it.
Nice.
Like a video game.
You get some video game stuff, yeah.
You can this game has big head mode.
That alone it's a big head mode that you can unlock. It's not DLC. Not something they released later. It's in the video game.
It's just pure. I haven't played pure video game like this since Doom Eternal.
Right.
Where it's like this is what happens when you take the spirit of a PS1 game and put it on a modern console.
Just put it in a really pretty box.
Yeah.
Nice. Good.
I love it. I am so excited for whatever Insomniac does next. I mean, I know they're working really, really hard on Marvel games now.
They've got Spider-Man and Wolverine in development.
Yeah. So, but I hope that the PS5 ends with at least one more Ratchet and Clank game.
Yeah, sure.
I love it so much. The alternate version of Captain Quark, Captain Quantum, snuck his way onto a robot pirate vessel by wearing a bucket over his head. That's what this kind of game is.
That's what this game is. Okay. Oh god.
Oh wow. God. I cannot. I could sing this game's praises for fucking ever.
I know. And obviously it goes without saying, we talked for a combined 7 hours about Great Ace Attorney Chronicles?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And even that one, I'm also like, there's still more I could talk about.
Still more I could say, but
Great
I
Ace
mean,
Attorney.
like, we've already been here for 2 hours, so just go listen to those 2 episodes instead.
Yeah, and join us on the Discord where we are still talking about Great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
Yeah. As I bully more and more people into, so obviously there's a reason it's on both of our Game of the Year lists. Yeah, you know, it's still a good video game. I won't go into it too much, but like, yeah, that's what it all boils down to. It's just great. It is pure Ace Attorney from start to finish, which is what you would want, right? So
yeah, I've said this a bunch of times before, but it's like a new Ace Attorney game is like my birthday.
Yeah,
it's just like I am never not excited to play a new Ace Attorney game.
And now I'm wilting without one.
Now we've still got to wait 7 more years for another one to come out.
The problem is that they gave us one and it had 10 cases in it.
Yeah. So now we're spoiled.
Now it's like, well, now I can't go back to just 5 cases. That's not enough. So, yeah, go listen to the Great Ace Attorney episode so that we don't talk about it for 45 minutes here. It's good. There's a reason it's our number 2 game for both of us.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And the only reason it's not number 1 is because it doesn't have ray tracing.
Give us a great Ace Attorney game with ray tracing.
The bit where Ryunosuke walks around the in front of the juror booth was groundbreaking, and I nearly fell out of my chair when I saw it. But Clank has perfect ray tracing on him at all times, and the game runs at 60 frames per second.
The truest black magic in all video games this year. It's not 13 Sentinels' beautiful hand painted graphics. It's not the ray tracing in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. No, it's the fact that Great Ace Attorney had in-engine cutscenes set in the courtroom. Black magic. You're not allowed to do that.
There's a bit where everyone has left the room, and it's just Ryunosuke and Susato and Van Zeeks, and they just talk.
They talk, and they come out from behind their benches, and it's like the most. It is such a smooth transition that I thought I hallucinated it at first. Like, they go from their stock poses behind the benches to, walking out onto the courtroom floor, and I was like, are they allowed to do that?
This feels like a crime.
Yeah, I know. I feel like you when you go, when you ever have to, go to the bathroom at the grocery store, and it means you gotta walk into, the back area.
Yeah.
That's what it felt. It had the same vibes of, am I allowed to be here? Yes.
I shouldn't be seeing this. This is beta content that got cut.
It's incredible. Yeah, that is the real technological breakthrough of video games 2021, is that Ace Attorney had in-engine cutscenes inside the courtroom. But yeah. That's the Gorgies, folks.
So that is a wrap on regular episodes for 2021.
We did it!
We managed to get through this whole awful year.
Oh god, I hate this year. I'm so ready to be fucking over.
Like we mentioned last week, but we'll talk about it here as well. We are switching up our format. Mm-hmm. So our new pattern is going to be news, topic, news, break.
Yes.
So you'll still get around 3 a month, but we're just kind of staggering things out a little bit further, so we're not rushing through stuff, and the news episodes will eventually probably end up doing the Castle Super Beast and Big Think thing, where our what we've been doing just slowly overtakes the majority of the podcast.
Yeah,
and then we get like 20 minutes of news.
Yeah, that'll be the longest part, where we actually go in depth about whatever we've been playing instead, because we'll be able to play more things, hopefully.
Yeah.
So I think this will work out.
Yeah, 2021 I would also like to do more streaming, and 2022 would like to do more streaming and more extra stuff.
Sure.
And obviously our Patreon content will still continue. So we have that lined up for the month too. That'll come out before 2022, I promise.
And maybe we'll start putting out our Patreon content not at the end of the month every month.
Yeah, we'll do some catch up.
Whatever. It's fine.
But we did it. We got through it. Thank you everyone who's who's listening, everyone who's part of our Discord, who's part of our Patreon. You guys, every $2 you give helps us out way more than you can even imagine.
It just rocks that people want to pay money to hear us talk about things,
Yeah.
Like, that's just cool. Thank you. Like, every little bit you kick in is more than I ever expected. I never in my life ever expected to make money off this podcast. The podcast was always just like an excuse to talk to Ben for 2 hours a week about video games, So the fact that anybody wants to give us money for it at all, even a little bit, is just mind-blowing to me. Like, that's the generosity of even just a couple bucks a month is more than I ever anticipated. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys talking to us, people who get excited when we post a new episode on the Discord.
Yeah, it's great.
It means so much.
Yeah, it's nice to know that people, obviously we know people listen because we have metrics.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have like a person expressing excitement to hear our stupid opinions about things. So, we'll see you all in 2022. Obviously, If you're a patron, you'll get more content before the year is up. But if you're not, that's fine. And we will otherwise see all of you in 2022. Thank you so much.
And actually, also thank you to DJ Cutman for some background music. You can follow me on Twitter at thegorgepodcast. You can follow Sara at radioinactivity. And if you want to listen to Sarah's other podcast, are you getting anything out before the end of the year?
Yeah, I think we're going to get another episode out.
So if you want to listen to Sara without having to pay money for it one more time this year, you can listen to her other podcast.
I'm in another podcast called Big Gay Nerds, where me and a bunch of cool queer friends get together and we play tabletop games. We do a lot of different systems, like we try different things out. It's always a lot of fun. Right now we're playing Beam Saber, a mech game hack of Blades in the Dark, where instead of thieves, we play as pilots in a big, complicated war, and trying to kind of navigate the political aspect of that. And it's really good. It's honestly one of my favorite systems. We have a really good cast, and I just love it. I think it's great. So if you want to listen, head on over to Big A Nerds on SoundCloud, and you can find the links to the rest of our social media from there. Thanks.
All right, that'll do it for us. What do we got for, what?
How do we end 2021? Fuck 2021?
Fuck 2021. This year was remember how bad E3 was this year?
E3 was dog shit. The Game Awards were dog shit. I had a lot of personal stuff that was dog shit. This was just a wretched year. And it started out pretty okay. Like, I got to move to the city in April, so I was like happy about that. But like, oh god, once fall hit, it just literally fell off a fucking cliff. So like, fuck 2021. I hate this fucking year. I'm ready for it to be over.
Yeah, if this year was so great, why is it dead?
Yeah, exactly. I hope you rot in your fucking grave. I think I hated this year more than I hated 2020, which is really saying something.
If 2021 was so great, we'd be having 2021 too.
Yeah. Instead, we have to maybe 2022 doesn't feel like a real year, right?
It just feels
like
too weird to say.
2022. Like we're in like sci-fi years now.
Yeah.
It sucks ass. I hate it. So, but 2021 sucked ass. Fuck it. I'm ready for it to be over. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Happy New Year.